tell me what I need to fix, and let's go home. So I try to be that way when I'm sorting these shows. The other thing that I'm going to echo, and I've been talking about it a lot here lately, so you're going to get your little Grand Drive speech now, so we can keep hammering it out. But for those of you in the back, you kids in the ring, wherever, I have this conversation with my judging kids all the time. How do you become a successful person and a good human? And it's pretty simple. You gotta have 3 F's in your life. The first one is you have to have friends. Now, let me reiterate, that does not mean social media friends. That's a joke. The analogy that I give all the time is there is going to be a point in time where I meet my end and they have to put me 6 foot in the ground. And there may only be 3 people carrying my casket, but I can assure you it will not touch the ground. And what I mean by that is find people in your corner that are there, not just at your highest of highs, but more importantly at your lowest of lows. That's a real friend. The second one is family. And obviously, those of you sitting around the ring obviously understand the importance of that. But that's something that's hit really close to home with me the past 6 months. You know, I was up north in Michigan there and working, and my mom's health has been a little questionable, to say the least. And I'll never tell her that she's the reason I came back home, but she was a big part in that decision, because when I left at 18 years old, I moved 19 hours from home and never looked back. And, you know, I think back to it now, and I wish I'd have taken a little more time to spend with my parents and get involved with them. And I'm kind of having to make up for some lost time, if I'm being honest. And the thing that I keep going back to is they've always had my back, regardless of what I've decided to do. And, you know, I'll tell you, they don't understand what I'm doing out here. They don't, but they supported me and said, hey, if you want to do it, go for it. And parents, if you can do anything, don't ever tell your kid no unless they're being a booger. Push them to go for plan A. Because when it comes right down to it, there should only be one plan A, because if you set your mind to it, you can get it done. Now, you may have to go a different direction than what you thought, but you can still get A. The last one that I'm going to talk about, and it is a very hot, cold topic in our society, is faith. I do not get afforded the opportunity to do what I do because of my good looks, because trust me, I ain't pretty. I have been put in this situation to get out and do what I love every day because of God. And when I have hit those lowest of lows, there's one person that I knew I could count on. It was God. Talked to God, and He guided me. He's also been there when I've been at my highest to highs. You know, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you what to do with your life, but I can tell you from my personal experience, without God, nothing that I've done in my short lifetime is possible. And for you young kids, whether you believe in Him or not, what you'll come to find is as you get older, and I see a lot of our older generation sitting out here nodding their head, when things seem unimaginable, God will make it where it is. You can imagine it and it can happen. So that is my biggest pet peeve. If you take those 3 F's and apply it to your life, it'll make you a good human. That's my takeaway. And I'm not going to give another speech, but I wanted to say that while everybody's still here. If you don't like the fact that I talk about God, I'll be very frank, I don't care. I don't. Words of my father, you can get glad in the same pants you got mad in. I'll talk about him when I want because that's what I believe in. I'll get off my soapbox. We got some bears to get through and some guilts. Let's put our hands together.
Woo! Oh, look at him. Look at him. You gotta love that.
I think top end of these things are very good, and I think just in terms of trying to piece them together and figure out where you want to land in terms of build and skeleton and all of that, I think it kind of falls in hand with who's standing in the ring, but hopefully you can tell by the ones I've got out here that structure and balance are important to me, and they still got to have enough muscle to be worthwhile. So when we start thinking about piecing them together and getting you a champion in reserve, I think it comes down to three of them in my mind. I think they're easily the most unique to look at. They're the best in their running gears, and I think are just equipped with real-world shape and dimension. The three that are in the hunt for me is this solid black bear right here, that thin-belted bear, the man in the red, and then the young lady in the back. Those are the three that I personally like. I think they're the hardest to make. I think they're the neatest in terms of their proportions, in terms of getting you a champion. I think there's one that does all of that I like and does it with just that much more. Young lady right here.
Congratulations, your Supreme Champion Crossbred Hero goes to Lexi Kerr.